Hello and welcome to Inside KATSINA on Trust TV. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now, agricultural restoration and upliftment is one of the cardinal objectives of the KATSINA state government under the leadership of Governor Aminu Bello Masari. And despite numerous challenges, insecurity being the major one, giant strides have been made in the area of boosting the agricultural sector in the state, especially in the area of rice production. Now, a few weeks back, we explored this aspect of the agricultural revolution in KATSINA state, where we looked at some partnerships entered into by the state government with some stakeholders, one of which is the Simaul Udong Foundation of South Korea. And we had a chat with Lee Hyung-bo, the country director of the foundation. Today, we'll take a look at the partnership from the perspective of the KATSINA state government, and we will be in conversation with Ibrahim Tukurji Kamshi, the Managing Director of KATSINA State Investment Promotion Agency. And we asked him how this partnership came into being. Let's take a look.
Two things that prompted this relationship between KATSINA State government and South Korean government, specifically the Gyeongbuk-do province of South Korea. They are the promoters of the Samundong Foundation of South Korea. Samundong Foundation, ordinary in English, means a village movement. It was born out of shared experience of South Korea. Of course, anybody that knows the history of South Korea, Korea as a government, Koreans as a tribe, was once upon a time part of the Chinese government, just along with Singapore. But at a point, they separated, the Koreans separated from the China, and then later the North and South Korean people venture or went into civil war, and that's produced what is known as South Korea and North Korea. South Korea was devastated by famine and a lot of bad experiences. As a result of that, they went into communal efforts and other associated self-help activities. And it is what gives birth to now known as the giant South Korea. Now South Korea is one of the 10th of the biggest economy of the world. It is this experience that the South Korean government seek to share with the global community. And they are sharing this especially in Asian countries and African countries. For us now, the question is, where do we meet the South Korea or the Gyeongbuk-do province, or else the Samundong Foundation? Here in our quest to bring in investors, we were able to attract Aliko Dangote, the owner of Dangote Industries. And when they came, we had several discussions with Aliko Dangote, and he wanted to invest in several ventures. As a result of that, he asked for the leasing of Shanghai facility, which was an established training facilities and a research institute, but a smaller scale level. When he saw the facilities, he now requested the state government to lease the outfit. We leased the outfit to Dangote for a sum of 500 million naira for 10 years period. But then he wanted to convert that research center to his Aliko Dangote World Agri Research Center, where he will train, research, including the academicians, and his undertaking of research activities, because given the circumstances Nigeria found itself in terms of food importation, he wanted to venture into rice processing. As a result of that, he brought in the Korean government. Why did he brought in the Korean government? By extension the Gyeongbuk-do province and the foundation itself, is because the South Korea and Nigeria, and especially the KATSINA state, have similar culture and undertakings when it comes to smallholder. They are very experts in terms of smallholder farming. And here we are two smallholder farmers and subsistence farming is what is the practice in KATSINA, and of course by extension to the entire northern Nigeria. So for Dangote, he wanted to provide a symbiotic relationship, one with his research activities, two with his rice production initiative that he started. What Dangote wanted to do initially was to do three things in KATSINA. Basically, one, the research activities of his business. Two, the rice production processing. He wanted to establish a factory, his mega factory in KATSINA. Three, he wanted equally to embark on tomato cultivation processing. Thereby, he will now set up a tomato first industry in KATSINA. But before that, he needs to have like an outgrow outfit. Outgrow outfit can only happen when you have farmers that are well trained and their practices is enhanced, and the South Korean Foundation are experts, or the South Korean people are expert in smallholder farming. So we are linked up by him. So when they came, they did a study around where the facilities is, so that the facility can warehouse the training and research activities of the foundation itself. It is as a result of that they zero on two communities. Makelo community is in Dusama local government and just adjacent to the Songhai facility that belongs to the state government that was leased to Dangote for 10 years period. And then Radawa community, which is not too far away from Makelo community too. They are into rice production, especially the irrigation activities. And that's how they started their activities for now. We started with one, like I said earlier, for them to be able to say, this is where we settled and we are interested in doing it. They did a general survey of the two local government before they zeroed down to the two communities. But then the most interesting thing is that they are not only doing the rice production or anything cultivation, they are into the overall gamut of activities that relates to the community, like clinics, hospitals, schools, lighting, or I can say energy, village energy. But for now, they started with improving rice production of the village people. That's the first thing they started. So our own understanding are basically three things. One, how do we create an animal environment? They need a place to do this cultivation, because what they are doing is training, changing the local practices of production or farming activities, if I can put it that way, the methods. Two, they need a site. So what they require now is a space of land that is encumbered, so that they don't want anything encumbrances. Two, facilitations in terms of how do they come to Nigeria, how do you facilitate their visa, how do you facilitate their residential permits, how do we secure them, and these are the just simple things that they require.
Okay. And what do you need from them? That is what they needed from the state government.
What we need from them, as I said earlier, is one, to get involved with the community, with the farmers, to change their methods of farming practices, to change their attitude, to become more communal, to have more cooperative system, so that their production, their methods of farming can change, so that their output will improve. And when they improve, eventually their livelihood will change, their income and welfare will be enriched, and their income base, so that eventually their poverty level will drastically reduce, and they become more of farming that can produce profit, that can give them income. So far, they have started with the identification of who will participate from the communities, the two communities involved. When they did that, they set up the cooperative system for them, and they started the training. Now, we have twin objectives. It's only in Nigeria, maybe in northern Nigeria, that you will find farmers not doing anything during the dry season mostly. And here we are now, we found out these people from South Korea that can take our farmers through the rainy season up to the dry season with the irrigation. So that has given us a dual objective. One, there is an enhanced production. Two, the production of rice is during the irrigation season is only once. Now it means we'll be able to have two sessions of farming, dry and rainy season, and that is two advantages. Two, there is expanded output of per hectare. So which means now the people that are involved, the participants that are involved, could be engaged year-round doing something economically, something productive, as opposed to before they are coming.
Without a doubt, the rapid agricultural development with special emphasis on rice production to reduce imports and boost export capabilities of rice farmers in Katsina State has received priority attention, going by the amount of investment made by the government in this regard. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, Inside Katsina continues. Stay with us. Welcome back to Inside Katsina on Trust TV. And we have been talking to Ibrahim Tukurji Kamshi, the Managing Director of Katsina State Investment Promotion Agency. And he has been giving us insights into the partnership of the state government and the Simol Udong Foundation of South Korea in the agricultural sector. Now, we sought to know the impact of the partnership in relation to how the foundation was able to revolutionize rice farming in Katsina State.
Hitherto, the arrival of the South Korean people, the farming practices there normally give an average of 1.5 tons per hectare. Now, the farmers are producing 6 tons per hectare. And the Koreans are aiming to give these farmers training so that they can produce 10 tons per hectare in Nigeria, and that will be really like a revolution. There is other Egyptian within the Songhai facilities there that are equally doing a similar research. And for those ones that, because they have come earlier before the Songhai Foundation, before the Samaldong Foundation, they are producing now 7 tons per hectare. And those ones too are aiming at 10 tons per hectare. So that means at the end of the day, we may have a convergence between the Egyptians that was brought by the Dangote and the Samandong Foundation people from South Korea. They are doing research because the Dangote outfit is a research center. Initially, they wanted to establish the rice processing, polishing, and packaging factory, but then suddenly the COVID-19 erupted the entire process, and unfortunately, Dangote has shifted his attention to conclude his refinery. And not only that, the associated risks and the losses that Dangote incurred during the COVID-19, that was unofficially said to me, it ranges from 150 million to 160 million naira per day throughout the COVID-19 has really bring a setbacks to some of his agribusiness that he has that were at the incubation stage. No, like I have said earlier, Samaldong Foundation or the Village Movement Foundation of South Korea are not only looking at the farming practices, they're equally looking at the entire activities that relates to the welfare and prosperity of those communities. I have mentioned earlier that they will later, in next phases, in addition to the farming practices, they will look at clinics, health system. They will look at primary educations, how they will introduce maybe infrastructure. They will look at the roads. They will look at the communication and other things, because what they will bring is a package of rural development as part of what they do. Now, initially, like I said earlier, the Dangote intends to set up a processing factory, but now that it is not really coming in the immediate future, whatever they produce, here is an investment agency. We will link them up with a processor that has a good factory and that could have given them a value for their money. And as they expand, when we looked at the output as a package of the Makera people and our people, including the adjoining villages and including the adjoining local governments, we intend to attract a small processing factory within the state to be patronizing them, or else attract somebody that can set up an industry very close to them so that they can have the entire rice value chain around the area. We so far faces challenges of about 3 types. Number one challenges that we face is global challenges that associated with this COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, it really disrupted the project time, delivery time. 2, we face the challenges of understanding by the locals. Certainly, we have to go into various sensitization, and we get resistance here and there. That is normal with the community because of lack of education, lack of exposure. We have surmounted that. And equally, we face challenges of where do we locate the project, because there are perhaps more viable sites than where we are, but it's owned by the locals and they are not ready to give it out. That we surmounted it again. Equally, we are facing the challenges of no matter what the current prevailing security situation too is a challenge. If you are dealing with a foreign person and in the area there are associated challenges of security, certainly is a serious issue between you that is hosting the foreigners, and you know what they are doing is out of human basis that they are doing it. Sometimes we have to accompany them. We have to make sure the security surveillance is really enhanced. Well, so far so good. We have done that at an excellent level. We may not blow a trumpet at that, but we have not experienced any security issues regard to their operation there. And these are really challenges that we have overcome. But for the security, the tension is really down and down. We hope to overcome it overall. But even if we have not overcome it overall, we have taken care of what we are doing. And any time that we have activities around that place, we normally plan and make sure we have executed successfully in such a way that they will go and conduct their activities and come back home safely. Yeah, as facilitator and promoter of the project, I am satisfied. One, I am highly satisfied with the commitment, absolute commitment of the staff of the Korean government that are operating in the site and those that normally come and go. Two, I'm also satisfied with the conduct of the leadership, especially the village leaders and hamlets leaders, the Meongwas there. They have now seen that these people have really come to assist and support us, especially for the fact that what they produce has really significantly increased, and thereby giving them more money at their disposal. So they are really cooperating, and that's a good satisfaction. Now for the two communities, we get more reception and more cooperation in Radawa than Makira in comparative analysis. And in Radawa, apart from the infrastructure, they have even built a bridge. And at a point during the rainy season, this guy have to do their road. Two, they have seen the primary school now that is very close to them, and they will soon start renovating and upgrading the school too as well. And that's at least 2 stages ahead of Makira community. It is a social investment, and social investments is really a project that intends to or aim at improving the capacity, the awareness, the wealth and employment of the rural populace. And once you have that, really it dovetails into the overall multiplier effects of the investment, not only the investment but the economic growth and overall per capita income and attendant development process of a nation. 2 to 3 things that attracted them. One, we're lucky that they were referred to KATSINA. They are referred to KATSINA because we have an existing facilities. They are referred to KATSINA because we have a good relationship with the Dangote, Aliko Dangote as a person, and then Aliko Dangote as an industrialist, and then the Dangote Industries as a whole. 2, the reception they have gotten from the state when they arrived is another factor, is another issue too. 3, the commitment of the state government towards creating an enabler for the Koreans too, to be receptive to understand that yes, we are ready to accommodate whoever comes to KATSINA to add value to the people of KATSINA state.
Are you investor friendly?
Absolutely, we are investor friendly, KATSINA. We are investor friendly, and that is why this government created this office, and it's a one-stop shop that once you come here, we don't allow you to move around to other ministries and parastatals. We make sure we get whatever you want from other ministries and parastatals, because we speak the language of investors, we understand their pain points. We are here to provide what is called a single window transactions to anybody that comes to invest in KATSINA.
Creating an enabling environment to encourage participation in agricultural activities is without doubt one of the most effective ways of promoting agriculture as a sustainable means of livelihood for all those involved. And KATSINA State Government, under the leadership of Governor Aminu Bello Masari, is well on its way to achieving that monumental feat for the people of Katsina State. Now, this is where we draw the curtain on this episode of Inside Katsina on Trust TV. Join us again next time when we will x-ray another sector that has been impacted positively by the restoration agenda of His Excellency Governor Aminu Bello Masari in Katsina State. Until then, I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.